guys, so welcome to take 2 of this video. I recorded it, but I don't know, something's up with the GoPro and I didn't record it, and now I gotta shoot it again. So if you guys are watching this day, I put it out. Happy Father's Day. Today is Father's Day. If you guys are not watching it, happy late Father's Day. Everybody enjoyed the Motovlog. The last one I put out, I enjoy doing them, so here we are. We're doing another one. And we are gonna kind of take the same path, kind of not. They said it was gonna rain, then now they're saying it's not, but it's thundering. So I don't know if it's gonna rain or if it's not gonna rain. And like I said, now they're saying it's not going to, but I was hearing thunder while I was getting the bike ready for the second trip. So it might rain, it might not. I'm trying not to get rained on because you guys see my phone and the GoPro is not in a water housing. Plus I don't want to get wet. I'm just not I don't want to get wet today, but hopefully you guys can kind of notice a change in audio. I put a dead kitty on the mic and I changed locations before I came out the first time, and I'm going to keep checking the mirror a lot to make sure the light's blinking, because I really don't want to come out a third time to shoot this video. I really wasn't going to talk about much. I mainly just want to come out and ride and enjoy the day, and wish everybody a happy Father's Day that's watching. If you guys are dads, you know, happy Father's Day. Hopefully you guys enjoy the day. This is pretty much all it is for me. Like, Crystal went to go get Troy, who stayed at the in-laws. Landon and Autumn were at the house, but she should be coming back shortly, I think. So once she comes back, I'll probably just hang out at the house and enjoy the family time. Hopefully get this edited and thrown up so you guys can enjoy it today too, and kind of get another Motovlog. Hopefully you guys actually are enjoying them. It seems like you guys are. I like making them, so if it's something that does good on the channel, I'm definitely going to be doing a bunch of them, because like I said, I like doing it. I like coming out riding. It gives me a chance to kind of talk about stuff, kind of hang out. Really, it's one of the easiest videos I could shoot, so I don't mind them. Plus, when you're going out and you're doing this, like, how can you not like it? So it's a win-win. There was one thing I wanted to kind of talk about, and I did talk about it, but like I said, something happened with the GoPro. I don't know if it was the battery died. I don't think it was the battery. I think it was just GoPro screwed up on me, because like the middle of the ride was there, but the beginning and the end wasn't. And the battery was dead too, and I don't know how that would even play into it, because it's like the end of it was cut off. It was the beginning too. But I don't know. We're gonna try to move past the GoPro issues. Hopefully I don't have any more, and I can kind of enjoy the second ride of the day, not get rained on, which I kind of think I just felt a drop. But if it starts raining, you guys are gonna get some high-speed footage of me going home, so that might be something to look forward to. But I did want to touch on something. It was in regards to everything that's going on right now with the kind of just the state of the nation, with their opinion on law enforcement right now. And there's been, everybody knows about the protests going on and people demanding that everything gets defunded, and they want to defund the police, and you know, the cops are getting killed for no reason. It's really just a shame where we're at right now as far as the country goes. But Basically what it boils down to is when officers go to work and they put the uniform on, they put the uniform on knowing that they might not come home. It's an extremely dangerous job to do, and they've always done it without questions. It's a job, it needs to be done. People dream about it their whole life, and they become cops and they try to make a difference for usually pretty insignificant amount of money. And it's just a sacrifice they make, the sacrifice the family makes, and that's just the way it usually works. But as of late, because of the violence and the attacks on officers, people are quitting. And the whole reason I bring this up is because I was on Facebook earlier, and I'm friends with Mike the Cop on Facebook. And if you guys don't know who Mike the Cop is, check him out. He is on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and whatever else there is, I'm sure he's on it. He's also part of Humanizing the Badge, which I believe also has a Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, but they have a website as well. But really, Humanizing the Badge was created by a group of officers that wanted to do something more. So risking their lives to protect the communities that they live in and grew up in, and to make sure everybody's safe and gets to go home, it wasn't enough for these guys. They wanted to do something more. So they created Humanizing the Badge, which does a lot of community charitable things, and they try to help bridge the gap between law enforcement officers and the community as a whole. Mike posted that yesterday, due to the circumstances of the country and the way the nation is right now, that I believe it was yesterday night or yesterday at some point, Mike turned his stuff in and gave his badge up. Now, Mike is not the first one. He's just one of the best officers that I know of. And it's the thing that made me want to kind of come out and talk about this and hopefully change some of people's opinions. But there's, across the country, there's been hundreds and hundreds of officers that have turned their stuff in. A lot of you guys, there's been news articles, I couldn't find the words. There's been news articles about Atlanta, Georgia, I think it was Zone 3 and Zone 5 that basically turned their radios off for the day and wasn't responding to calls. I know there was other groups too that they weren't not responding, but they were only responding to officer needs assistance calls. So they're calling it the blue flu. Atlanta's not the only ones that have been doing it. It's been going on across the country, and it's in wake of the protests where people are saying defund the police department, get rid of the police department, F cops. They're putting their badges on, risking their lives, and they're doing it for people that want to kill them. The same people they're trying to protect are the same ones that are shooting officers in the back of the head. Coming up behind them, shooting them in the back of the head for no other reason than the fact that they're a cop. So, I want to say first off, don't get me wrong, I understand why people are angry, I understand the protest. Shooting officers in the head, breaking into stuff, stealing people's livelihoods out of their shops, that's not protest. That is criminal activity. That is looting, that is robbery, that is murder, and these people should get everything they can get at them. I don't want you guys to get me wrong, I understand both sides. I understand why people are angry with what's happening, especially with George Floyd. What happened there, and you can ask any cop in this country, nobody's backing the actions up of that officer. Nobody's backing up the officer at all. We all know what he did was wrong. We all said what he did was wrong. But officers are being attacked and killed because we're all bad cops. That doesn't make any sense. If everybody's saying that was messed up, that was wrong, he deserves to go to jail for murder. And honestly, in my opinion, if he spends his entire life in prison for murder, he got off easy. Because that was flat out murder. It had nothing to do with policies. He didn't follow his policies. And in fact, we do a lot of training on positional asphyxia and other known, things like that. I can't think of what to call them. It's not a disorder, but other things like that. We do a lot of training on that, so everybody knows about them. So what he did was actually violated multiple policies. But what's happening now is we're in a state now where you get charged for doing your job. So what I'm talking about is the shooting at the Wendy's. The video's all over Facebook. I know every one of you guys have probably seen it, probably heard about the story. The guy passed out drunk in the drive-thru. They called the cops. The cops showed up. He fought the cops. He took the cop's taser, tried tasing one of the cops. The other cop shot him. Now they're charging the officer that shot with 11 charges and charging the other officer like 3, I think. And out of the 11, I think they said like 7 were felonies and 1 was included in murder. So without knowledge, without training, you guys don't understand where all this is coming from with the officer. So basically in the academy, you're taught, and I've talked to other officers and they've all verified it, it's been in their academy as well. But in the academy, you are trained that if somebody takes your weapon, whether it be OC spray, taser, baton, gun, if somebody takes your weapon, that is considered a deadly situation. Now, you guys are asking, how can a taser be a deadly weapon? What happens with a taser is it's a 5-second cycle. So it sends a bunch of volts through your body for 5 seconds. And that's if he lets go of the trigger. If you hold the trigger, the taser will never stop. You can hold the trigger until the battery dies, and it won't stop until that battery dies. So if you get hit with a taser, you guys all seen videos, and if you haven't, you can look them up on Facebook or YouTube. They're all over the place. But if you get hit with a taser, your body locks up, your muscles tense. Your muscles tense up, and you basically lose all function. Now, for my department, and I know pretty much every cop has been hit with a taser, but for my department, if you carry a taser, you have to be tased. So I've experienced firsthand, if you get tased, majority of the people lock up, they freeze, they can't move. I was able to move a little bit, but that was based on where the probes were actually deployed at. The wider the spread you get, the more effect you have. So the closer to the probes, the least amount of effect, but it still hurts like a son of a what. And it does have an effect. You still lose some mobility, but for the most part you get a good spread, which happens in the majority of the cases. Your entire body locks up, you have no ability to move anything, and people can basically be at their free will with you. So why this becomes a deadly situation in this case is if he tases that officer, he already stole his taser. He's already fought with him. So if he tases him, the cop can't fight back anymore. What stops him from grabbing that officer's gun? He can shoot the officer, he can shoot civilians. There was cars everywhere. One of the 3 bullets fired actually hit a citizen's car. Nobody else was injured. It was just a scare. But it's just one of those situations that's unfortunate. The officer did a really good job in my opinion. He put 3 shots out, and out of 3 shots, 2 were on target. So that's, under the circumstances, the fear, the panic, you know, the adrenaline rush, you know, it all kicks in. But he focused on his training, he was focusing on his fundamentals, and he was able to land two directly on target and put the threat down, which is what we're taught. We're taught to stop the threat, to put the threat down. And with it being a taser that can incapacitate the officer, it's, by academy standards, it's justified. So for him to be fired and now facing murder charges on top of everything else, it's just messed up. It's aggravating that this is where we're at with the country. It's aggravating that people are literally forcing good officers to hand in their badges because they're not willing to risk their lives anymore for these people, for civilians, any people. Like I was saying at the beginning of this, every officer that puts his uniform on knows that it could be the last time he puts his uniform on. Everyone goes to work prepared to die. And what they're prepared to die for is you. It's you, your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, your cousin, your best friend. It's your neighbor across the street. It's all of them. They know none of you, and they'll die for all of you. They have been ambushed, they've been assaulted, they've been murdered, they've been spit on, they've been yelled at, they've had things thrown at them, they've had the county, the country, the states demanding to defund the police department, to disband the police department. We don't need them. You know, they do more bad than good. These are the same people that they swore an oath to protect and serve and to uphold the Constitution to protect you. And it's the sad state where we're at in the world, but they are no longer feeling it's worth it. So, Mike the Cop included, people are turning their badges in left and right. Atlanta, Georgia had what was called the blue flue. It's going around the country. It's basically people are not showing up to work because they don't want to. So Zone 3 and Zone 5, I believe it was, did not show up to work in Atlanta. So what that meant was 911 calls were coming in. Nobody was responding. There was a call that came in with a man with a gun, and nobody was there to respond to it. So you guys got to think about the situation. You call 911 because there's a guy that has a gun, and you're scared because whether he's waving it, threatening people, shooting people, whatever it may be, he's got a gun and you're scared. Who are you going to call? The way the country is going, it's not going to be the police. If we keep going the way we are right now, we're not going to have a police department to call. Whether you guys want to disband them or they just flat out quit, you ain't going to have nobody to call. So what do we need to do? What we need to do is to start working on making changes. We need to work together as a community. And I'm not talking law enforcement alone or the citizens alone or the mayor alone. We all need to be working together on this. We need to stop dividing, stop driving a wedge between groups. And it doesn't matter what it is. Civilians, law enforcement, black, whites, Mexicans, yellow, black, purple, green, yellow, I don't care. We need to stop dividing. We're supposed to be America, united we stand. We need to stand together, you guys. So we need to come together, whoever it is, lawmakers, policymakers at departments, people at the academy, we need to change the way things are being ran. We need to change background screenings, some of our mental health stuff, because I think most of the stuff that happens with the officers that are just messed up, like the Floyd incident. I think some of these guys probably got something kind of going wrong mentally, and maybe we need to look at the mental exams that we go through when we put in to apply to be in law enforcement. Maybe we need to kind of figure out a different testing or some different markers to look at, or change the policy. Like, if you don't want people to consider somebody stealing their taser a deadly situation, maybe we should stop teaching at the academy that that is a deadly situation. I mean, I don't know how you can teach that, because to me that is a deadly situation. But we need to start working on policies, procedures, laws, whatever it may be, to protect the civilians and to protect law enforcement. Because if somebody is threatening with immediate bodily injury or death, we should be allowed to defend ourselves and to defend you guys without going to jail for murder. Now, I'm not saying make laws where police are above the laws and nobody can get in trouble, because obviously that's not what we need either. But there needs to be a certain amount of protection there. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. Like, I think we need to start coming together, stop finding ways to divide us, and start coming together to make some changes. And we need to kind of do it fast before there's no police officers left, because I've been talking to people around here and they're talking about turning theirs in too. Honestly, I know Crystal would probably like it if I didn't work in law enforcement anymore, but it's sad to think that most cops are like me, and it's not even just cops, it's people in law enforcement in general. But it's sad to think that people in law enforcement spend their entire lives wanting to be in law enforcement. Like, that's all I could talk about growing up. That's all I've ever wanted to do. And for somebody that goes through their whole life and all they ever wanted to do and all they want to do is to protect and serve the communities that they grew up in, and to watch them quit their dream job, it's one of the saddest things I've ever had to witness. And I never thought I'd be in a situation like this where I'd have to experience what we're experiencing. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. But like I said, I see both sides. I'm not arguing for one or the other. I understand the outrage. Officers, any officer in this country is going to be outraged with the Floyd thing. Every one of us have said it. Nobody has backed that officer up. It was messed up, but at the same time, what's happening to officers right now is messed up too. So, people don't want to be judged by the actions of one, and it doesn't matter what you're doing. It could be one white man kills somebody, they don't want to be judged by that white man. Black man does something, the entire black community doesn't want to be judged by that one black man. It doesn't, it's not any different for us. One bad officer does something, we don't want to all be judged for that one officer. So we're all on the same page. Obviously there's bad cops. There's probably more bad cops than we even realize, but they will never, well, if things keep going the way they are, it might be, but as of right now, they will never outweigh the good officers. And the good officers are people like Mike the cop. They're the ones that put on the badge every day, go to work, say goodbye to their family, knowing they may not come home. And that's not enough. They're coaching softball and soccer and baseball, and they're doing community outreach, and they're spending their lunch break playing basketball in the street with some kids to bridge the gap between the community and law enforcement. They're doing charitable organizations that brings back and to help the communities that people work and live in. Like, these are the cops we need, and these are the very ones that are getting chased out of the field, and it's extremely sad. I hope people, I know none of you guys are probably the ones out looting, killing cops, but hopefully somebody sees it, kind of understands that. Like, we all just want the best for the community that we serve. I have a wife and kids to come home to. Everybody has a family to come back to. We go out, okay, so everyone goes out to work knowing that they can die. Doesn't mean they want to. We all have people sitting at home waiting for us to come home, and I can't imagine what people are going through family-wise of these officers, where they get a knock on the door and they go, hey, your husband's dead, hey, your brother's dead, hey, your son is dead, because some coward, some piece of shit, and I'm sorry, you guys know I don't normally curse in my videos, but some piece of shit that doesn't like him, doesn't know him, but doesn't like him because some asshole killed somebody named George Floyd. That is the most bullshit thing I've ever heard. He killed somebody, so you don't like me, so you kill me. That's the most asinine thing I've ever heard. And let's not forget who Floyd was. Like, yeah, the whole thing was bad, but they did this whole white carriage funeral, national, like 6-channel funeral, like 3 times a day thing. Army vets killed in action doesn't get this kind of treatment. Floyd has been convicted and has a criminal record, but he got better treatment than the people that fight to keep this place free. The ones that are fighting so you have the ability to protest don't get treated as good. That's pretty messed up in my opinion. You wouldn't have the right to protest if it wasn't for the military. But they die in action fighting for your freedom. And for the most part, nobody even knows. A convicted criminal died, and it was nationwide news. Everybody was watching the funeral. It was all over TV. They got this horse-drawn funeral carriage thing. It was messed up, in my opinion. But I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of end it on that note. And like I said, I understand that, you know, what the officers did was messed up, and I don't condone it. Nobody does. But at the same time, every time an officer does their job, it shouldn't end in murder charges. But like I said, I'm just gonna end it on that note. I'm gonna head back home, enjoy my day, kind of hang out with my family. They should be home pretty quick here, and just kind of enjoy Father's Day with these guys. So hopefully you guys enjoyed Father's Day. If you guys watching the day of, hopefully you guys are enjoying it and got to spend some time with your loved ones. But I will catch you guys on the next one. Thanks for hanging out and maybe enjoying my rant. I don't know. It was just my opinion. Like I said, I'm not trying to make anybody angry with it, but like I said, you know, happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. I appreciate everyone that is watching. All the law enforcement officers, you know, keep your head on a swivel, be safe. If you guys give up the badge, I understand and I respect it. If you guys stick it out and you want to kind of see it through, I respect that too. But no, if you turn that badge in, you're still family. So much love to all the brothers and sisters out there fighting the battle every day. All the people in the community, I hope you guys are staying safe through all this stuff too. You know, I know the riots and the violence and stuff is affecting you guys as well, so hopefully you guys are staying safe, staying positive, and just try to be the best you can be. I will end up catching you guys on the next one, I'm sure. Thanks for stopping by. Peace.